Try to write it in this way. Are you building a software or an app? And then what's the problem it's who's the avatar buyer and what's unique about your software, your app? If you remember, essentially you're building a software or app or service. What problem do I solve for whom? And how do I do it uniquely? And then the unique part, people call this unique value proposition. If you remember, UVP. And then we talked about this last Saturday, where what you want to do is you want to turn this into a minimum viable feature. So you have the standard industry features plus your unique feature, and that's what you got to build. And then you have a landing page that pitches that unique feature, get beta users, usually with free trial, and then upgrade. And what you're doing is you're testing your uptake percentage. Okay, so this is the standard way of approaching this. I've talked about this before. How do I sync landing page with the app? Define sync. So with an app, you mean get them to download. So with an app, usually this is how the landing page goes, so you guys know. So most apps have some kind of video, and then they have a hero section. You can put this down below. You guys know what a wireframe is? Your headline, CTA, download, and then you have screenshots of the app, and then you have a little video of the app explaining why you should download it. And then I generally recommend something called a benefits section, and then a features section, and then you can have an FAQ, and then another CTA button to download at the bottom. Benefits. This is usually the wireframe of an app. So this is the landing page usually. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but you get and all the little CTA buttons are actually what they're going to do is they're going to open up the App Store. So this is the download App Store. This is usually what happens. And just to be clear, usually there's two buttons, two CTA buttons on a landing page for an app. One is Apple and one is Google Play. Okay. So this is a standard landing page for an app landing page, wireframe. And then all of these CTAs will actually open it up in their app store. Landing page has a form to submit. If you have an app, you shouldn't have them fill anything out outside of the app. Why are you doing that? So you're saying you have a quiz or something where people are filling out form, and then you want the data to automatically collect inside of a web app and then transfer it over to a mobile app. That's what you're trying to do. That's unnecessary and causes what's called friction in onboarding. It's both more difficult technologically and it's worse from the user experience. Why don't you just have them download the app? Or why don't you make it a web app, a web software? If you want to see my previous lectures, you can go to launchyourbusiness.ai, click on learn. There's 10 hours of training here. You can also see it in Discord. So there's lots of stuff here, but today's not for that. Will the mobile app automatically connect to the camera, mic, geolocation, etc.? Automatically, no. But if you set it up correctly, then yes. It won't automatically do anything, but it can do everything. I'm trying to link my app to my website. Again, this is the same thing as what do you mean link my app to my website? What does that mean? So there is no linking to a website. It's just you use a landing page, your website to get people to download, and you're tracking your. So what you do is let's say you have your CPM for your ads or your CPM is cost per view, and then you can have your cost per visitor, like to the website, and then you have your click-through rate to the App Store, and then you have cost per download, and then you have your uptake percentage for people that take a premium. So that's what are you using the word app instead of software? What do you mean by app? A mobile app or a web app? Because a web app is just as simple as adding so let's say I was in settings here, you just add your domain. You just click this button. If it's a software, it's as simple as that. You just click, just add your domain with your DNS records and you're off to the races. But if you mean mobile app, I don't really know what you mean. What do you mean publish an app to your website? Have a white label, three landing pages. Are you testing all three landing pages? Are you split testing them or are they different products? Web app for hospitality, cool. Making good progress. Why does the agent frequently confirm it's fixed and an issue, but it hasn't? In terms of design or functionality, or both? I'm building a reminder app that surfaces other apps to automatically populate reminders and remind you based on context like location, open apps, time. Building a reminder app that surfaces other apps to automatically populate reminders. So you're wanting to track a repository of other. So you're essentially competing with push notifications and define surface other apps. You mean read other apps? Can we talk strategy real quick? So let's say I have this app that does, I don't know, reminders, project management, whatever. There's all these other apps, and you're trying to put them all into one app so you can communicate everything all in one. Is that what you're trying to do? So this would be connect your Slack, connect your text, connect your email, connect your notes, and define that. Solar top 100. Oh, you're making a website. Essentially, is that what you're doing? The Danish capital of America. Nice. Who do I know that maybe we're a ruined tennis player? No shop and see solving. Do you want this to be Oh, I see what you're doing. You want this to be a mobile app? Where is this, by the way? California. Okay, so you want basically an app that automatically gets access to everything and then reminds you an AI of anything that you need. So it has to connect to anything business related or message related. Is that what you're trying to? The link you shared doesn't open. I would use Deal.ai. I always use Deal.ai for everything. Is this a white label, a famous landing page, but for a specific niche? Yeah. So white label. Okay, cool. Yeah, this should work. You just got to send a lot of traffic to it. Yeah, this shouldn't be an apostrophe, but I want my visitors to my website. Yeah, you just have to connect the domain. Yeah, definitely use deal.ai for the videos. That's what I use for everything. Really interesting, to be honest. Do you have a share link of what you built? Or you could schedule a call with me and we can talk through it together if you want. Let's go to that website. And there's a calendar at the bottom here. This is my calendar. You can talk. Once the tourist signs up from the landing page, they have access to the passport. I get what you're doing. I think you're just creating too much friction. So I want to be honest with you. What you're doing is you're competing with Google Maps or Yelp. So let's say I'm interested in going to this area, solving, and I'm going to Google it. Oh, this solving this Danish community, very cool. What you're doing is you're going to probably give me some kind of reviews and recommendations and some kind of discount, right? To the local places and then you have some kind of cut that you take. So it's fine to have an app where it's a local app, and if they have the app, then they get all these rewards, almost like a little card, or what you call it, passport. That's totally great. That's totally fine. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I think what you're doing is creating a little bit too much friction between having them fill out some information. What I would say is the headline would be, welcome to the town. Download the official town app and get discounts on all of the best places. And that's it. Like, I don't think it's that complicated. I just went to the zoo in Madrid and I was buying tickets, and download the app, and then with the app you get all these perks. It's pretty simple. I wouldn't have them, I get what you're doing. You're having them fill out this form and then they get a QR code, and then the QR code what allows them to download the app, but then they're going to have to use the QR code from another phone. It just creates unnecessary friction, in my opinion. Just have the app, have the onboarding questionnaire just right in the beginning. That's what I would do. I connect the domain, but how do visitors to my domain see the project? I'm not sure I understand. What's your website? Just share the website. I'm not sure what you mean by see the project. Do you mean log into the software or something, or what do you mean? Oh, your domain doesn't work. Yeah, it looks like your domain doesn't work. Can you share your preview link and take a look at it? How are your ads coming along? Okay, is this local? Blaze.ai? Yeah. I've worked with them. They have really interesting branding. Yeah, cool company. Do you got any interesting data yet? Uptake percentage? When I say local, so you said your night, your way. So whenever you have an in-person anything, let me look. Interesting, right? It looks like the container isn't holding it. Okay, I'll fix that. Thanks for that. Cool. So what I mean by local is so whenever there's a night, it means that it's alive. So usually when you're creating an events company, you start in one location. You start in Brooklyn, or you start in Los Angeles, or you start in Paris, or whatever it may be, because it's very difficult to start a company to do events that's worldwide. So what I mean by local, where are you starting? Thanks for the feedback, Jonathan. Do I include the sign up in the app itself? I want to track which businesses they visit and track Totals for earning loyalty rewards. So the problem with loyalty rewards is this for tourists or is this for local people? So loyalty, think about a loyalty reward system. A loyalty reward system is for repeat coming back and back over and over again. So my local cafe, they have a loyalty rewards program because if I come every day and get an espresso, maybe one out of every 10 times that I go there, I'll get a free coffee. So that's what a loyalty program is. So loyalty for tourism is contradictory. Does that make sense? Because they're not going to be loyal because they don't live there. So, not sure. What do you mean for engagement? Define engagement. It's a crowdsourcing app that is intended for, yeah, but what do you define crowdsourcing? What does that mean? Crowdsourcing is usually for raising money. So, what do you mean by that? By the way, guys, I'm just going to put my email in there. If you guys want to get some one-on-one help, just copy in the chat my email and then email me and I'll email you back and we can figure out a time to chat. I'm happy to help you guys one-on-one. Play the game for free. What game? Is it a app? I thought it was like a passport that you is the game go to all these locations or something? Is that what it is? Where if you check off every box and you go somewhere, is that what it is? Is that what you're talking about? Like a adventure? I get it. So your landing page doesn't articulate that really very well to me. So I would say you're pitching the place. What you should do is coming to this location. We're excited to have you download the app, get exclusive offers, play the game, and get free swag or something like that. Play the local game, check off all the boxes, and see all of the great things and get discounts and also earn a free t-shirt or whatever. It's just be more direct. It sounds like your landing page looks and sounds like it's not benefits driven. Crowdsourcing as in large format community networking. You're competing with social media. Let's say I want to go to an event I live in Madrid. So what I would do right now is I would go on Instagram and be rock music Madrid, and there'd be a bunch of pages that would come up and I would join those groups. So is that what you're trying to compete with? Social media? Our own MVP is launching after this month. Oh, nice. You got a lot of things going on. This is cool. I would say, again, is this local? Usually something like this starts proves the model in one city because the targeting is so much easier in one city. So you're from New Zealand. Yeah. So it's like Auckland or something, and you choose one city and then you have a two-sided marketplace. So you really need the supply side and the demand side. You always have to get the supply side first when you have a marketplace. So the supply side meaning let's say the actual restaurants or locations. And then the user side, this is why Uber loses so much money when they first launched in one location, is because their supply side is their drivers. So you always have to get the supply side first in any marketplace. It's essentially required. Yeah, working with the restaurants right now. Yeah, you have to get the restaurants first. And I don't know if you guys, again, you're competing with Google Maps and you're competing with Yelp and you're competing with, what's the other one? TripAdvisor, you're competing with all of those. So I would be real clear, I talked about this very vaguely. Your unique value proposition, minimum viable feature. So what is the feature that makes you different than just using Google Maps? Best sushi near. If I put that into Google Maps, it's going to show me the reviews. And then it's also Yelp is going to come up and TripAdvisor is going to come up. So what specifically, think about it from an investor's perspective. If I was going to invest in your company, so it's Groupon meets Yelp, something like that. You guys know what Groupon is? Google Maps, Yelp plus Groupon, something like that. That's cool. Oh, you just download the app. So what's the business model? They have to pay? The restaurants have to pay to be on the platform? Is that the business model? So someone just downloads it. Yeah, yes. You're just getting enough attention and then you turn off the faucet if they don't pay later. Is that what you're doing? Like just free for everyone, get a lot of users, get everyone using it. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, by the way, you probably noticed that you've gotten an extra $1,000 a month in business because of this app. If you want to continue being on the app, you have to pay whatever per month, something like that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's also easy to build. Competing with sites that provide a list of events instead of app enables locations, visitors, entertainers, and educators to create their own spontaneous events based on available spaces that need to be built. Competing with sites that provide a list of events. Instead, the app enables locations, visitors, educators to create their own spontaneous events based on available space that needs to be built. What do you mean by space? You mean physical locations? Like theaters or no, you do have to prove the model because I get what you're saying. If people don't see that people are getting the discounts and they're making money off of it, they're not going to pay for it. That makes sense. You could even have multiple tiers. So if they pay, then they're higher up in the ranking, like that kind of thing. Space. You should email me. I'd love to chat you about what you're doing. Email me. I put my email in the chat. I know I didn't mean to be critical. I'm just trying to give you a simplified version of it. I like the idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. And actually, what I would do is I would build it so that the admin panel on the back end, you are using this Danish community as a case study. But really, what you're doing is you're building the software so that other people could use that for any city. Just imagine that. You could totally raise money for that. So you say, oh, if you're the head of tourism or you're the chamber of commerce or something for some local city and have tourists come in, you should have your own app. And you could actually charge to build this app for them, even though it's essentially already built. You're just skinning the app. And so you say, hey, look what we did for this community. People come in, it's this game. They have to go to the one bar and buy a beer, and then they have to go to the other place and get a chocolate, and then they have to go to the other place and go to the museum, and then they have to get the tour of the horse thing, and then they have to meet the lady, the blah blah blah. And it's like a little game. Yeah, it's fun. And they go around, and if they check off all 7 things or whatever, they get whatever the prize is. And the prize could be maybe picked up at the museum, or it's picked up at the Chamber of Commerce, or it's picked up at one of the local hotels or something like that. It's very cool. That's actually a very good idea. But I would think even bigger. I would say, yeah, you're using it as a case study in this one location, but don't think about that one app. If you really want it to be big, you'd have to think about it as this is a case study so that I can make a meta app that other cities and other townships can do the same thing very quickly for their tourism. I think the idea is even bigger than you think. Yeah, for sure. I use ChatGPT for everything. I went to a bar one night and had a lot of things in my city, but the bar was empty. My project name was Club Vendor Owners to make this space available for people looking for something to do. I see what you're saying. Connect. I don't think spontaneously is the right answer, but I get the idea. It's like a marketplace for locations that have event space. But I think it's very rare for people to create an event last minute. My wife is in the music industry, and I don't think she would ever be like, hey, I'm gonna be here tonight. I don't think it's that. I think that's really rare. I like the idea. I like the idea of event space, empty event space, bars, whatever that may be, and people that want to throw events. I think that's very smart. That's like a really cool platform, but you might be making it too complicated. That makes sense. 2 call to actions, guys. You should email me if you want to chat, Jonathan at launchyourbusiness. And if you want to come to the event on the 26th, it's 8 hours with me and a bunch of other guys. Usually it's because the prompt is not specific enough, or you're not using the right naming convention, or it has named things incorrectly. So one thing that I do is I'll figure out exactly how Famous is naming everything before I ask it for something. Whether it's the name of the page or the part of the section within the page or the naming conventions within the app, whatever it may be. And then you specifically ask for the change to apply to that specific part of that particular page, that particular feature, and tell it not to change anything else, just that one feature. So that's kind of a simplified way of thinking about it. Yeah, go blue. Class of 09. I grew up in Ohio, ironically, but I went to the University of Michigan. Event is 197. Yeah, I know. Yeah, super base issues. I mean, at that point, it gets a little technical. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I bring in a developer for the last final 5%. That's just the truth. So whenever, if you can figure it out, cool. But sometimes that final debugging, yeah, exactly. I agree. It's like you take it, oh, everything works perfectly in theory, and then you want to turn it on and debug it in the final stages. That's where it gets a little bit difficult. So either you gotta just yeah, I know. The good news, think about it this way, is that it's getting to that 95% used to take also a team of designers and developers that would cost you $100,000 to get it to that point. I've had a lot of developers on my team, and it's not frustrating to work with humans either. It's not any better with humans most of the time. You hire a human and it's 100 times more expensive and you still have bugs. The way I try to think about it is you get it to 90%, you get it to 95% of the way there, and then you isolate whatever the problem is, and then you hire someone to help you isolate that to solve that one particular problem, but you were able to do the work of 4 or 5 developers that normally would have cost 6 to 9 months and $100,000 with a subscription and just chatting with it. So even if it costs a little bit of money, a freelance developer, or you work with us or something like that to get it across the line, you're still 100 times cheaper and faster. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. I try to just be grateful for what it can do. But if you're a developer, it's a magic trick because they can see the bugs a lot faster than I can. Another thing is that it also replaces landing page builders and website builders and all that kind of stuff. So it's very cool. I know we have different events I think Terrence is doing to become a certified AI specialist so you can help other people. I'm more like finish your project. So that's what I like to do. You just come with your laptop and we'll just bust through it in one day, get all the kinks out and finish it. Guys, it's good to talk to you. Tuesdays, come with your questions. I'm always here to give you some advice. Email me, Jonathan at bookdaddy or launchyourbusiness.ai. We'll talk soon. Cheers. Bye-bye, guys.